Hi, this is Kal Dashiri, and this work was done in collaboration with Mariola Andiriu, Subhan Mishbaz, and Tamer Bashar from the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. So the purpose of this work is to quantify the impacts of DR aggregation on wholesale market efficiency. So DRs have two small capacities to enter the wholesale market. But they can provide multiple services to the grid, such as capacity, energy, and ancillary services. However, the system operator does not have access to the distribution lines, and also this will bring a lot of computational burdens to the system operator. So we have aggregators in between who act as intermediate players, and they are inevitable because they come at a cost, because they are also profit-seeking entities. So that can affect the efficiency of the market and actually brings an efficiency loss. So in this work, we have three main questions. The first question is how to model the DR aggregation process through a profit-seeking aggregator, and we use a game theoretic model for that. The second question is how to quantify the impact of DRs on market efficiency. And the third question is how to deal with uncertainty in DR supply. We have this sketch to visualize the relationship between prosumers. These are end consumers with DR, such as solar panel, rooftop solar, selling back to the grid. We have a retail aggregator who acts an intermediary between these prosumers and the wholesale market. So what we have is a game between the retail aggregator and his prosumers. So he offers prices and they respond with certain capacities. And there is coupling among prosumers, so that constitutes a game between prosumers, a Nash game. And there is an overall, there is a hierarchical Stackelberg game, capturing the relationship between the aggregator and his prosumers. And then once an equilibrium is achieved, that will determine the supply offer to the wholesale market, and that will give some price and quantities to the aggregator, with the aggregator being dispatched. So this is the model we take. As a benchmark, we have the model on the right. Ideally, you would want the prosumers to participate directly into the wholesale market, and they supply their DR capacities, and they send their offers. However, this is not feasible due to practical considerations. And also, the wholesale system operators, ISOs, do not have access to the distribution lines, the access needed to do this. However, this is the ideal benchmark case that we use. So the difference between the two cases will capture the efficiency loss due to the aggregation at that equilibrium of the game. So what we have is, we have at the day-ahead stage, the aggregators and prosumers reach an equilibrium, and DR supply is cleared to the wholesale market. And then we have another component, which is stochasticity in this problem. So due to stochasticity, there can be a shortfall, so the aggregator must buy back the unsupplied energy, and then we have a cost-sharing mechanism that is detailed in the paper that details how this cost can be fairly split among prosumers. Going to the main results of the paper, we show and prove that there is a unique symmetric Nash equilibrium for the prosumers game, and there exists a Stackelberg equilibrium, and we also have conditions for its uniqueness, and we have some illustrations showing the gap and improvements in efficiency. For example, if I look at the middle figure here, you will see that the no DR case will have a certain procurement cost, and then with the aggregator I have a reduced cost, but then with the direct participation model we have the smallest cost. So there is a gap between the two lines in the bottom, and that gap is captured through the metric we propose and called the price of aggregation, which is plotted on the right. The figure on the left shows that as the price increases, the direct participation model, the prosumers will have a supply offer that requires a lower price than the one when the aggregator is present. So as a conclusion, we have proposed a game theoretic model for DR aggregation. We also proposed a metric for quantifying efficiency loss. And some questions for future work would be some discussions on should the aggregator remain monopolistic, because we only have one aggregator here. So if I increase the number of aggregators, how will the efficiency be affected? Also, should the aggregation done by a distribution system operator? That's another question. Or should this be data-driven? Also, for future work, is there an efficient model for DR aggregation? So can I have a DR aggregation model that is efficient, meaning it gives me the same outcome as the benchmark ideal case? And actually, there are some preliminary results that demonstrate that this is possible by a two-part pricing.